Hi, I'm Paulette, and today we're going to do about a 20-minute restorative practice. So you'll need a blanket or a beach towel or both. If you have a bolster, that's even better. And you'll need your blocks. So let's start in Balasana. If you like, you can bring your blanket across your mat if your knees are a little tender. And bringing the knees to the edges of the mat, toes together, feet. You're going to sit on your heels, allowing the breath to come into the lower back or into any areas that feel tight. And let's inhale, walking the palms over to the right. You can stack the left palm on top of the right hand, stretching out the left side. Deep breath in and deep breath out. And inhaling, coming back to center and walking over towards the left. Maybe stacking the right palm on top of the left. Inhaling deeply and exhaling. And inhaling, coming back to center. Coming up onto hands and knees, into table. And then inhaling, tailbone lifts, arching the back, and opening the chest and lifting the head. And then exhale, round. Drawing the belly up and in, chin to chest. And inhaling, moving from the tailbone and gradually up through the spine, and exhale. And starting to move with your breath. And making your way back to center. Let's take the right knee over the left. Sitting back towards your heels, stretching out the hips. Deep breath in. And exhale, coming back to center. And the left over the right. Inhaling. Coming back to center and back into table. And then just starting to rotate the hips in circles. They can be big or small. Just warming up the body a little bit so that we can come into longer, deeper stretches and holds. And then reverse. And coming back to center, bringing the right palm to the middle of your mat, lifting the left arm up and threading it through. And deep breath in. Coming back to center, right palm plants, left arm lifts. And exhale, threading it through. And inhale, deep breath. Coming back to center. Sitting back onto your heels and then rolling off onto your left hip and extending your legs down the mat. You can go ahead and grab your blocks. Coming into staff pose. So it's nice to have something underneath the hips, especially if you tend to round your lower back. This helps You tilt the hips forward. If you're like me and you need a little bit of help there. And then bringing the knees about in line with bringing the blocks in line with the knees. And let's lengthen up through the spine, grounding down through the sits bones. Relaxing the shoulders down the back. And then inhale and exhale, taking the blocks a little further down the leg. Maybe midway between the ankles and the knees. Continuing to lift up out of the spine. And then moving into your Paschimottanasana. Bring the blocks down to the ankles or the feet. And starting to round the lower back. And deep breath in. And exhale. Inhale, let's make our way up. You can take the blanket out from underneath you. We're going to lie onto the back, keeping one block nearby, bending the knees and resting the soles of the feet onto the floor. And then noticing the natural curvature at the lower lumbar spine. And see if you can draw that gently into the earth. And release. And inhale, gently pressing the lower back down. And inhale, release it. And exhale, press. Grounding down through the heels, and inhale, let's lift the hips up, coming into bridge. Taking hold of your block, coming up onto the tippy toes, and bringing that block right underneath the sacrum bone, at the lower back and top of the glutes. And then resting your arms at your sides, or you can bring your arms up and over the head, grounding down through your shoulder bones. Or you can bring your palms to the lower ribs. Just noticing your breath. And deep breath in. And exhale. Rising up onto the tippy toes. Removing the block and slowly lowering the back, vertebrae by vertebrae. Whenever I try to do this, my lower back just goes clunk onto the floor in one piece. So I want to work on articulating the lower spine. And then from here, let's take the right ankle on top of the left thigh and allowing the knees to just come out to the right. You can turn the head to the left, just stretching out the neck. Deep breath in. And exhale, coming back to center. And let's switch, so the left ankle on top of the right thigh, twisting the knees over to the left and the head to the right. And taking in a deep breath. And exhale, coming back to center. Let's roll the knees over to the right, lifting the right arm up and over the head, and coming onto the right side and lifting yourself up. I just love that stretch because it's really good for the front of the hips, stretching out all the muscles in the hips. Okay, so taking your bolster or your blanket and your beach towel, whatever you have, we're going to simulate a bolster if you don't have one. And then I'm bringing my right hip up against the blanket to start, and then turning your chest to face your blankets or your bolster and coming down. And you can either turn to face your knees or turn the head away from the knees for a deeper stretch. The arms can come up and over the head, and just allowing the weight of your body to rest on your blanket or your bolster. And deepening your breath, turning the head to face the knees if it's turned away. And we're going to come up. You can simply go through your table, switching to the other side. I'm going to turn this way and turning your chest to face your props and slowly lowering down. Again, negotiating the head, which way feels better for you. And so if it doesn't feel restful to turn your head away from the knees, bring it back to face the knees. These stretches should be effortless. And taking a deep breath in. Turning the head to face the knees and slowly coming up. And then we're just going to keep our bolster right where it is, bringing the lower back up against it. Now, we're coming into Baddha Konasana, so if your knees don't like hanging, you can take your blocks and put them underneath your knees. Feet are together, knees out to the sides with the blocks, if that feels more supported. And then coming down onto your back. Palms can be facing up or down or on your lower ribs. And just allowing your breath to move through the body with ease. Loosening up any tight spots if there are still some areas that are compressed and tense. And if you'd like, you can stay here for final Shavasana. Or if you'd like to bring the spine onto the mat, bringing the knees together, lifting the left arm up and over the head and rolling over to the left. Moving the blocks and the blankets, the bolster out of the way. And just coming down, laying back onto your back. Arms at the sides, face up or face down with the palms, and the feet can be wider than hip width distance. And deepening your breath, allowing the forehead to soften, the eyes, inner ears and throat, shoulders and chest, upper back, middle back, lower back, stomach and abdomen, arms, wrists, and fingers, thighs, knees, shins and calves, ankles, feet and toes. And if you like, you can stay here in final Shavasana pose. If not, let's bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Allowing the right arm to lift up and over the head and rolling over to your right. And gently pressing yourself up into a seated position. Coming back to where we started, let's inhale, circle the arms up and over the head and down in front of the heart in Namaste.